thank you all for coming. This is the second to the last session, so we're in the final stretch here, and we'll try to get through this as quickly as possible and get to the final one, so y'all can move on out on to better things. So, again, my name's Randy Love, Randall Love, whichever. I go by both. I've been with Elsevier for 7.5 years. I'm a senior solutions engineer. I recognize many of you in the room because I've worked with you on your when you first bought Pure, and now I'm focused primarily or exclusively on the federal government. So let's go ahead and jump in. As somebody once said, the times they are a-changing, and that is especially true right now in the world of research, across the entire research ecosystem, when we're talking about universities, medical facilities, research, government labs. Everyone's going through tremendous change. And along with that, though, we're trying to look for ways where we, as Elsevier, where we can help, or where our solutions can help. So one of the things that came out from the new administration was a letter to the director of OSTP on goals, on the goals around research and technology, science and technology. And so we wanted to see, how could Pure potentially be used to help you or help, researchers in general meet these goals, or, make sure we're aligned with them. Might be a better way to put it. We could really probably dedicate an entire conference to the changes that we've seen, but what we're going to focus on is, as I said, how Pure can help here. So the goals that were put out is, you can see here, the first one was, how can the United States secure its position as the unrivaled world leader in critical and emerging technologies while maintaining our advantage over potential adversaries? The second one, how can we revitalize America's science and technology enterprise while pursuing truth, reducing administrative burdens, and empowering researchers to achieve groundbreaking discoveries? And the third, how can we ensure that scientific progress and technological innovation fuel economic growth and better the lives of all Americans? So let's look at these one by one and kind of look and see where it makes sense. For the first one, I'd like to really focus on the emerging technologies piece. So, Pure was designed to help your organization, especially with the Pure portal, to share what your institution is good at, what your researchers are good at. And so in doing so, that opens your organization up to collaboration with other universities from around the world, government partners, and as well as institutional partners. So to be able to align with these new and emerging technologies, this is not something new to Pure. Pure's done this for a long time with the fingerprint engine. So the fingerprint engine, as you know, it automatically goes through and looks at what your organization's good at, what your departments are good at, what your people are good at, and allows someone to come to your website and to be able to search on those topics and find your researchers. So in doing so, these emerging technologies that they've identified in this particular letter, I'm trying to keep politics out of this, just trying, so bear with me. But, so that's something that's already been built into Pure. And ways that you can help with this, if you remember back in 2020 when we were all sequestered and because of COVID, we sat back as an organization and said, all right, again, how can we help during these trying times? And one of the things we came up with was that banner that you could put on the front page that says, here's everything that we've done in COVID, everything our organization's doing, all the researchers that are working in this area, all the outputs that we have, everything that we're doing around COVID. Well, fortunately, our developers were smart enough to know or to hope that COVID wasn't going to be around forever, so it wasn't built just specifically for COVID. It was built to be able to use any topic of your choosing. And I know a lot of organizations, where's Barron? Barron's over here. University of Kentucky, I always show this in my demos, they do a great job. What is it, every month you guys update that? On a monthly basis, they put a new topic up. So one month it might be breast cancer awareness, another it's Alzheimer's research. my particular favorite was on the bourbon research. If you're looking for volunteers to help with any testing, oh, there you see, another reason I got to come visit. But see, you're not a government agency anymore, so anyhow. But so that's ways, one way in which you can help. If we look at the second one, the thing that I highlight here is that reducing administrative burden. And this is, again, something that we've always looked to do with Pure by having integrations and pulling as much information into the system as we can in an automated fashion so the researchers aren't burdened with having to go out and constantly updating their profiles themselves. And so, again, this is ways that we can do that we can help your researchers meet these goals without, having more administrative burden. Another way, which we just learned about from Elaine, is with the data site integration. So another way to get more content in, in a more automated fashion, so researchers don't have to do it on their own. And I don't know if you had a chance to see the new CV module or the updates to the CV module. So again, this is something that we're enhancing. One of the great things about the CV module is it takes the information that comes into Pure, adds it to the CVs for them, alleviating that burden from the researchers. And on the third one, as far as fueling economic growth. In this one, this was great, is that, Pure's been doing a lot of this stuff for a long time. And so, the Pure portal, it highlights your collaboration efforts to show what's being done. But, another thing that we've done here, and anyone from New Jersey? From the New Jersey project? Yeah, see. So, one of the things, well, no, from the New Jersey project, not just from New Jersey. So, anyhow, the New Jersey project, from what I recall, was when that came to be. And one of the things the Department of Economic Development put that in place because they found that so many companies within New Jersey were going outside the state looking for research partners, looking for universities, when they had all this great talent right within the state. So they put in, if you saw earlier, there was also a presentation on communities, on the community module. So they put a community module in that linked their top 6 or 7 different leading research universities so that, companies would have one place to go to find partnerships, to be able to scan all of what was happening in all these different places. Now think about in each state, if you wanted to try to do that, you'd have to go to each university. If they didn't have Pure, you wouldn't have one nice place to go to. You'd have to go to each department, potentially on the website, search through that, see who's researching, who's doing research in what area. Makes it very difficult. So by linking this all together, it makes it easier for potential partnerships to be formed. And so this is a great way to show fueling that regional economic growth. So an example of showing how research is benefiting an organization is the NSF TIP project. And so we've been working on this for a couple years now. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may have seen it. The NSF, as you know, was founded and established in 1950 by an act of Congress to promote the progress of science, advance national health, and secure the national defense. A couple years ago, they formed the first new directorate. I think it was in, 30 years, 30-some years, which was the NSF TIP, or the Directorate for Technology, Innovation, and Partnerships. And the goal was to bring people together on all these projects, but not only to bring them together, but to bring them together from across the country. And that was a big thing, and that's something that we'll get into a little more. So their goals in finding a system was to demonstrate to their stakeholders, all of their stakeholders, how their public funds are being spent, and are they being spent equitably. By that they mean, is it happening all across the country? Because what a lot of people were saying was that, oh no, all the funding goes to Silicon Valley or the Northeast coast of America. And so they were looking for a way to show, no, we're investing everywhere. And so a lot of the programs in TIP were really designed to do that and to show that. Oops. There we go. So the project leader from the NSF is Grace Yuan. She's the data analytics officer. And in her bio, they noted that a notable achievement of her leadership was her leadership in developing this NSF TIP investment pilot, which is what we call the Pure system there. And it started with a meeting. Art, who I keep referring to in the back of the room, was in a meeting with another colleague of mine, Mike Wiley, and I think they actually went in to talk about SciVal and started talking about how SciVal could help them. And Grace kept talking about this vision she had of what she wanted to do and how she wanted to, have these maps that would show, and she had samples of different map solutions that would show, where people were spending money or where people, where the funding was going. And so that, got Mike thinking, well, here, we have something like that called Pure. Let me show you. And he pulled up, anyone from Penn State? They didn't make it, did they? Okay. Well, he took him to the Penn State Pure website, and when she saw that, she said, yeah, that's what we want. But the great thing about Grace is every time she says, that's what we want, she also says, but one more thing. Every meeting we have with her, Moises can attest to that. This is great, but one more thing. We started showing her Pure, and she was getting excited about it. She saw the collaboration map, and she said, well, yeah, that's really cool, but I have this vision. I want it to do more. And so, it moved very quickly. I mean, I've been involved, well, as many of you know, sometimes it takes a while to get Pure procured. The sales cycle can be quite long, but this moved very quickly. Once they saw what it did and what the capabilities were, they were ready to move forward. But that did take the support of upper level management, and Erwin Giancandani, who is the assistant director for TIP, was behind it, and he was, found that he saw it as a new way of being able to see the breadth and depth of TIP's investments in their key technology areas, and the impacts on the national, societal, and geostrategic challenges. The other thing he saw this was as a way to facilitate or foster partnerships. So if you can go out and you can find somebody that's working in your area who's received a TIP grant, then that could be somebody that your people can look to partner with. I meant to ask this at the beginning. Do any of you know if your organization has received a TIP grant? Okay. If you don't know, once you're done, you can go to this website and you can look and see. It's pretty cool. So this is the start. When we first started, it was just a Pure system. I'm sure this looks familiar to all of you, but what you might notice is it's more award centric. So the publications, we do pull publications in. They do have PRS. Right now, we're not surfacing the publications, and that they wanted a kind of a slow approach to that. But we're using the publications to generate the fingerprints. So now you can still go in and based upon a particular researcher's body of work, you can still find somebody based upon their expertise, even though we're not showing it yet. That will be coming soon, but initially, and probably for a while, it's only going to show the publications that are directly related to the award that they got. So something else, I'll ask a question at the end to get you thinking about something else that I've been thinking about, just to see if it makes sense. But once if you're at this site, there's a couple spots where you can see here, it says explore the map. If you go down below, there's a big thing that says explore the map, because that's where they really want to drive people to, is that map first. So what's the map? This is the map. So this, in phase 2 last year, they decided to move forward with this custom developed map. Now, custom developed, make sure everybody got that. This is not the new Pure portal. This is not coming soon to a Pure system near you, unfortunately. This was something that we had custom developed for them. And the way it's set up, you have the panel on the left that has information. Think of it as, like if you're going to look for a hotel on hotels.com or, some website. As you add your filters, the map changes and you see different things. That's exactly how this works. So if you come in and you apply different filters, you're going to see changes to the map. And then what's nice is you can zoom into the map zoom into one of these little dots, and get right into all the information about that specific award. Let's go through a couple different use cases of how they see this or want this to be used. So across the top, or over on the left-hand side, there's two tabs. You have your key technology areas, or KTAs, and you have the TIP programs. So you can kind of take your search from either one of those directions. So if we start with the KTAs, you can see them all listed down the side. Now the KTAs, the KTAs were defined by the CHIPS and Science Act itself. And so, these are the areas that they wanted to focus on. And so what's nice about the system is you can go over, it's interactive, and as you hover over these, it'll change and pull up, here we touched on artificial intelligence. So you see the number of awards, 1,221. Those are the ones that fall into artificial intelligence. And you can see the amount of dollars that have gone into artificial intelligence. But then also down below, you see these blue bars. One of the problems when we first started putting this in place was we looked at it and we said, oh yeah, we have these key technologies, but we have TIP programs and you can go either one. And then it was one of those things that Grace said, yeah, but one more thing, we want to tie them together. And so they came up with this, the designers came up with this great way with these blue bars where if you hover over them, those are the programs. So if I click on one of those programs, so in this case it's the SBIR, STTR, America Seed Fund program. So it'll show you the number of awards under artificial intelligence for the SBIR and STTR programs, as well as the amount. And then if I go ahead and click on that, the map's going to update and show me just the dots for that key technology area for that program. And it will look something like this. And so now I can drill down and get to one of those dots and get to the information about that specific award. Okay, so use case number 2 would be, obviously, to go by TIP program instead of by KTA. Same thing though, if I go in from the TIP program standpoint, I can see the nice color-coded bars for the KTAs. So again, I can drill down, I can use this to filter and find out, all right, which under, the SBIR, STTR, if I click on the yellow bar, that'll give me everything that has to do with the, with artificial intelligence. So just a different way of getting to that same information. And then, again, since we're coming at it from the program level, we didn't differentiate with colors with the programs. The colors are based on the TIP, on the KTAs. The TIP programs are all the same color. So just a little different look and feel when you go in there. Use case number 3, this is where it gets cool. So this is the explore by location. So something that was just recently added that came out after I did these screenshots was you can add, there's actually a search bar, a geographic search bar. So now you can go in and search, put in your state or put in a county and it'll give you a list of counties because obviously we have counties in different states that have the same name. So it allows you to search and kind of get very quickly to your county and then it'll zoom into that. So once you find the state, so here, or you can just use your mouse, and that's what we did here. We just, zoomed into Florida. If I click on the state itself, not on one of the dots, but just somewhere in the middle, it'll give me the breakdown for that particular state. So the number of TIP awards, the amount of the investment. If I scroll further down, and again, this was another change. At first, it would only give you the congressional districts. Now you have the choice. You can do congressional district, county, or CBSA, which is core-based statistics, yeah. Because at first it was MSA, and I had that memorized, and then they changed it. So, but yeah, so now, somebody from Congress, who is one of their stakeholders, obviously, how are you spending the money? How is this money benefiting my district? They can come in, they can find their district, zoom right into it, and they could see, oh yeah, we've got these awards. Which is very helpful because, picture's worth 1,000 words, as they say. If anybody remembers a TV show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? That was kind of how they wanted to design this. Are you smarter than a Congress? Never mind. So once you get down to that point and you click on any one of these searches within the map, once you click on the dot, and some dots will have a number in it if they have multiple awards. If it's just a dot, then they just have a single award. But once you click on that dot, now it takes you back to Pure. And here, this is, it has the information on the abstract information, and it has a link to their award system, which, again, stepping back, you might think, NSF, they got a lot of money. Why didn't they just build something like this? Well, they saw the value in working with Elsevier because we could bring other data into this. And they see us as somebody that has access to a world of data that they don't have. And the map thing, they tried using some tools they had, but they were really clunky. We were able to develop exactly what they wanted. And so that's kind of why, they came to us, which was great. So you have abstract and multiple awards. Now, eventually, you'll also see, related patents, publications, and impacts once we start to roll those out. And you also notice that the profiles were lit up. So right now, we're just showing the PI and the co-PI. At some point, we'll also be showing other collaborators, because a lot of times there's a lot of people that are on these awards. So we'll be showing them as well. The profile here, you might look at it and say, hey, wait, we have more information than that. Of course you do. We're just taking the information from the Pure Award, or from the TIP Award, into the system. We're building the fingerprint, though, because remember, we've got all those publications hiding in the background. So we can build that. And so, again, this facilitates the ability to search for partners and collaborators based upon what those profiles look like. A couple of future ideas. As I've mentioned a couple of times, we'll be adding the research outputs, patents, impacts. The impacts they're going to be using, the researchers have to write an impact statement, or can write an impact statement. I don't know if they have to. So we'll be taking those and putting those into the impact fields, or the impact content type in Pure. So those will be in there. Another really cool thing, and this leads into the next topic, which will be really great for you, is an AI-based matchmaking tool that we're working on with them. It looks very much like Scopus AI or ScienceDirect AI, surprise, surprise. But it'll allow you to go in and basically, put in a natural language, information, and it'll give you, hey, here's some awards. Here's the researchers that are working in this area. And so this is probably going to be rolled out in the next 4 months or so. It's still in the works, but should be coming out very soon. So in summary, what the NSF TIP wanted to do as a partner with Elsevier was to build this one-stop shop hub, that they call it, to highlight the value of its funded research, basically show what's the money being used for, connect funding to outcomes and impact. So how does it benefit me, or how does it benefit my constituents? Demonstrate the geographic disbursement of the funds, where's the money going, or facilitate collaboration in the key technology areas, and answer the question, who can I partner with?